Hey, in this video, I'm going to cover the difference between living in San Francisco and Sonoma. I grew up in Sonoma County, but my grandparents, my mom, and many of my family members and friends are San Franciscans. So I've gone back and forth between both cities my entire life. And I thought I just have to kind of share with you some of the differences between the two cities, just in case you're pondering where you're going to live next. Maybe you're relocating, taking a job, or you've lived in San Francisco your whole life and you've really been dying to move to Sonoma, and maybe you just want to hear a local's perspective on the difference and what the lifestyle is here. So I'm going to go at it on my walk, so come along with me and let's talk about the difference between San Francisco versus Sonoma coming up right here. Hey, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I put out a new video every single Friday and you want to get that video, especially if you're moving here to the city of Sonoma. I've put out, I've made maybe 15 videos now on the city of Sonoma going through all the neighborhoods. So push that subscribe button and you'll get the videos that come out every single Friday. And stick around to the end because I give a great tip at the end of every video. So if you watch my videos enough, you know that I talk a lot about the weather, which is kind of cracking myself up because the weather in Northern California is pretty temperate, right? I mean, yeah, we get hot, right? Really, it's pretty comfortable. I think for the last 5 months, it hasn't been anything but maybe 85. I think it hit 100 like 3 times this summer. It's Labor Day weekend 2022. And today, as I'm shooting this, it's going to be 105 here in Sonoma. The mean temperature in San Francisco is 65 degrees. So I can't tell you how many times in the summer I've seen all those tourists walking across the Golden Gate Bridge or hanging out on the Pacific Ocean, Highway 1 over there, and it's fogged in and it's 65. And they've got shorts and t-shirts on. It doesn't seem to bother them. But it's cool and chilly and cold, and there's many stories about the men that built the Golden Gate Bridge. They also built the Brooklyn Bridge. And even though it's freezing cold in New York, they were like, gosh, that terrible, wet, windy weather in San Francisco just seems to chill you to the bone. If you're kind of a weather person and you're like, do I really want to be cold all the time in San Francisco when I could just be warm when I wake up and maybe go to work once in a while, you know, in the city? A lot of people change their mind from living in San Francisco and moving into Sonoma just because of the weather situation. And I think sometimes when you're watching the Giants game and it's 100 degrees in Sonoma and everybody's bundled up at the ballpark, well, it's because the fog's coming in and it's a little chilly sometimes in San Francisco. So anyway, that's can be a big thing for some people. I know people that are retiring and moving here, they do it because of the weather, and it's pretty spectacular. So just keep in mind that San Francisco versus Sonoma, I think Sonoma wins for warm, and it just feels good most of the year. There's big fans in the grape in the vineyards out here because it gets frosty. I have parkas and plenty of winter gear, my cashmere sweaters and my wool sweaters and my gloves, because I go walking no matter what. So it gets cold here. The last 5 or 7 years, not so much, but it gets cold. So don't throw away your winter gear if you're moving here from someplace cold, okay? You might need it. It gets chilly, which I really, really love. And we get a slight bit of the 4 seasons too, which I don't think people think of in California. Not like on the East Coast, but for sure in the next 3 months, because they just picked all the grapes, you're going to drive around the valley and just see beautiful, bright red, orange, yellow. The leaves really turn and it covers every hill. So the fall is beautiful here. Winter is winter, pretty mild. There's been floods, there's been heavy rain, but they're pretty mild all in all. And then springtime is amazing with the wildflowers. And I just love the spring around here. It's like crisp and you kind of get every weather in the spring. I even saw it hail this year for 24 hours and it stuck to the ground. That was in May. That was weird. And then in the summer you have the hot heat summer. So we have the Four Seasons here. In case you're moving here from the East Coast, you'll get a little bit of that here in Sonoma County. All right, so people ask me about the crime. Well, that's not like clearly obvious. Crime in San Francisco is crazy here in 2022. I'm not going to quote a bunch of statistics. You all watch the news, but the crime here is kind of zippo. In fact, probably only twice a month do I ever see a sheriff's car or a police car here in Sonoma. Don't start coming here and doing things because I said that, but the crime is super, super low and just super lovely. I'd walk around anywhere at night and feel perfectly safe. So it's great. Lots of families live here. Super duper retirement community for sure. And I think everybody pretty much feels really safe and lovely here. So anyway, crime is low, safe, nice community. It's a small city, so we don't have really any poor or bad parts of town or anything like that. Of course, there's the less expensive parts of town if you look into the real estate and things like that. But it has no correlation to the crime. And it's just super nice. So, schools. So you can look up on the school websites, and they come up way above average here in Sonoma for elementary and high school. There's one high school and probably 11 or 12 different elementary schools, and they're just super cute. I'm in the mentoring program, the Sonoma County Mentoring Alliance, so I go on to one of the elementary schools and hang out with my fourth grader once a week, and that's a lot of fun. So the schools here are ranked super duper high. I think people come here because of that, so that's kind of cool to know. I know the city, San Francisco, can have problems. There's issues all the time in the news, and that's a big concern if you're a mom and dad. So the schools are pretty darn good here in Sonoma, and I know that's like the probably maybe number one on your list of, so what are the schools like? You know, and I always tell people, go to the school district, talk to them there, call them, you know, ask people what's their favorite elementary school, etc., etc. Maybe find your house nearest to the elementary school that's your favorite elementary school. So you kind of have to do some research on things, but I think you'll be happy with the schools. And speaking of schools, you're only a half hour away from Santa Rosa JC, which is like the gem of the whole county. It's a fantastic campus, great education. It's up in Santa Rosa. I think 3 out of 5 people, 4 out of 5, something like that, in the county have either graduated from, got their AA degree, or have taken classes at the JC. So it's a great place, and it's not too far away. We also have a state university here, Sonoma State, Cal State Sonoma, Sonoma State University actually is what everybody calls it. And nice school, and only about 30-40 minutes away. So if you got kids going off to college and you're thinking of moving here, it's not going to be difficult. As long as they have a car, it'll be a 30-40 minute drive, and getting to college will be no problem, I don't think. Pretty easy. In fact, there's even buses. I'm not quite sure about that. I know I took the bus from Petaluma to the JC. I didn't have a car, so taking the bus to school might be easier than you think from Sonoma. So getting to college is pretty easy around here. Okay, so the family life. You know, when you can walk out your front door, drive out your front door, bike out your front door, and just be in nice, safe communities where everybody really cares about each other, it is a whole different story than living in San Francisco. And I've never lived there. Thought I would. Actually, I thought I'd lived my whole life in San Francisco, but I never did, just because of jobs and life and family and stuff. So, but I know it pretty well because 3/4 of my family is from there and lives there, and it's not hard to figure out that safety-wise, culture, just every day going about doing things, getting to the grocery store, the CVS pharmacy, getting your car worked on, all that stuff. It's at your fingertips here in Sonoma. And it's easy and it's far less expensive. Even though it's super expensive, I'm not going to tell you living here is really gonna change what comes out of your pocketbook, because Sonoma, San Francisco, it's pricey for sure. But every day getting around town in your lifestyle with your family, it's a dog crazy city, Sonoma is, and which San Francisco is too. You've seen all those people in Presidio walking 10 dogs at one time. It's a whole new thing, right? Not new, but a few decades old, going crazy owning a dog, which is awesome. So it's real dog friendly here, pet friendly, lots of great dog parks. And just raising your kids here is going to be good. They'll actually be able to go 5 minutes out their door and see farm animals and learn how their food is grown. And a lot of people have their own chickens and get their own eggs and farm their own food. So even people kind of in the city or inside the city of Sonoma do as well. So just the whole lifestyle and the culture, vastly different than San Francisco. And don't get me wrong, my grandparents lived there and I went there a million times every month. I still love San Francisco bunches, but when I'm here and it's quiet and I'm listening to birds and squirrels and whatever all day long, and just getting around town is super easy, just running out and doing things, it's great. So anyway, so let's talk about retiring here, which I'm going to do a bunch of videos on, but it's a big retirement community. There's one golf course. Not everybody plays golf when they retire, but it's a big retirement community. Lovely golf course, the Sonoma Valley Golf Club. The other golf clubs and courses are within half an hour from here in the cities, Petaluma and Rohnert Park and Santa Rosa. Sonoma has really embraced retirees and senior citizens. They have a great community center. It is active 365 days out of the year. If you like the theater, there's Sonoma Arts. If you've never acted before, if you want to get involved in something, that's really cool. But just all the activities and everything going on at the Sonoma Community Center is terrific. I also want to mention the Vintage House, which is the senior community center in Sonoma, which is amazing, and it has never-ending programs. And you can even go and have like soup and bread there on Fridays. I think it's Fridays. Wednesdays you can have dinner there for $10. And they have just everything going on there. There's women playing mahjong and bridge, and I see a lot of men there hanging out. They have a driving program, so if you can't drive, they take you there. Twice a month I do the tech there, so I help people with their phones and their iPads and how to get in there and how to get around. So I'm a volunteer there. So the Vintage House is really a special part of Sonoma, and it's really fantastic. There's a 55 and up community, Creekside, Temelec, and Chanterelle, which I did a video on. It's down there. And those are really, really, really lovely communities. In fact, I'm walking through Creekside right now as we speak. So there is one retirement community here in Sonoma. And not that that's where you have to live when you're retired, but it's super nice. Well, I'm going to switch tracks here a little bit. Anyway, so lots of great safe places to live. If you're a senior, medical care, I think when you're retiring you want to know, like, so what's the hospital like? It's super nice. And there's quite a few assisted living facilities here, and a lot of the doctors that practice medicine here practice in San Francisco, and then also practice here. So the medical care here is excellent. If you need specialists of any kind, you're going to have to venture out. There are specialists here, but I know with my parents, if they needed specialists, they generally had to go to Napa or Novato, Marin, and of course San Francisco with UCSF, and then farther down is Stanford, an hour and a half away. So specialists are kind of an interesting subject when it comes to medical care, just because you might have to drive out of the city to find one. But I consider the medical care here excellent, and there's a really nice hospital as well. So I think that's really important to consider if you're retiring. And anyway, I think you're good here. Are you selling a house in order to buy a new house? Well, it's a great idea to actually leave your current house and move into your new house. And you're thinking, well, we can't do that. We have to sell the house in order to buy the new one. There's ways to do it. There's programs with lenders where you can sell your old house, vacate it, and buy your new house. And why is that good? Because buyers need to see your house anytime they can. The realtors need to have the flexibility to pounce on your house as soon as you put it on the market. So think about new programs that lenders have where you can sell your house, vacate it, and move into your new house, so the realtors can take care of selling your current home. If you're looking to relocate to Sonoma, make sure you go down below and look for the Show More section right below this video. I have a great team of people, and we get calls and texts and emails from people like you every single day looking to move here. And we know that even though you're not moving for 6 months to a year, you really want to know some things way ahead of time. Maybe connect with a lender, or maybe you're just pondering school districts and neighborhoods and you just want to talk to a real person. So we're here to help you out, and we look forward to it. So look below in the Show More section, hit that subscribe button while you're at it, and we look forward to speaking to you. And the next video is coming up right there.